O Lord, even if my sins are many and great, I know that your forgiveness is even greater. If only the righteous can hope in you, then to whom can the sinner turn for refuge and help? I call upon you, my Lord, as you have commanded, in humility. So if you turn my hands away, who then will have mercy? I have no means to reach you except hope and the beauty of your forgiveness. And so I am a Muslim. Dear viewers, peace, mercy, and blessings of Allah be upon you. Welcome to a new episode of the program The Call. We welcome you, and we also welcome our esteemed guest, the scholar Sheikh Dr. Muhammad Hassan. Peace, mercy, and blessings of Allah be upon you. How are you? May Allah bless you. How are things? We are enjoying these reflection episodes with Your Eminence in the call. If you permit, I'd like to pause at a point I believe important from your perspective.
Do you truly perceive and acknowledge that the profound practice of contemplation, deep reflection, and thoughtful consideration exists and is actively cultivated within the global Muslim community, often referred to as the Ummah? Or do you observe its absence or significant decline? Furthermore, when you consider the nature of contemplation, do you fundamentally regard it as an absolute binding obligation, a fard, something that is incumbent upon every Muslim? Or do you view it more as a commendable virtue, a desirable quality, or a supererogatory act, a nafila, that brings additional reward but is not strictly required? And if in response to these inquiries, you articulate the common sentiment that our worldly affairs, our daily responsibilities, our professional commitments, and the intricate demands of our families and households have overwhelmingly preoccupied us, consuming our time, energy, and mental capacity to such an extent that deep contemplation seems unattainable, well, yes, this is a widely recognized challenge. If this is indeed the case, then what precisely is the practical, actionable way out of this pervasive state of distraction and spiritual neglect? What are the concrete steps, the methodologies, or the shifts in perspective that can enable us to overcome these overwhelming preoccupations and re-engage with the vital practice of contemplation? This is, in fact, a profoundly serious and critical matter, one that carries immense weight and significant consequences for both individual spiritual well-being and the collective strength of the Ummah. The core issues at hand are multifaceted: pervasive ignorance, a widespread lack of profound beneficial knowledge, and perhaps most critically, the failure to act upon the beneficial truth that has been revealed and understood. When individuals or communities are steeped in ignorance, when they lack access to or fail to internalize divine wisdom and guidance, and when they possess knowledge but do not translate it into righteous action, the consequences are dire. Specifically, the one who remains ignorant of Allah, the Almighty Creator, the Sustainer, the source of all knowledge and truth. This is precisely how you, in your previous discourse or definition, characterized and delineated the state of such an individual, implying a profound spiritual deficiency and a significant barrier to true understanding and progress. So even if someone is knowledgeable in one of the worldly sciences but does not truly appreciate Allah as He deserves, he is ignorant. Even if he benefits humanity, Allahu Akbar.
His deeds are rendered completely void habita with the letters haba and tahabita, meaning it is entirely nullified, it has no value at all. He is utterly ignorant of Allah.
Dr. Muhammad, yes indeed. What do you call someone who disbelieves in Allah, who denies His existence, glory be to Him, who rejects His existence, who is arrogant towards Him, who does not submit to His commands, who does not avoid His prohibitions, and does not respect His limits? He does not believe in His prophets and messengers. And how many such people are there nowadays? This is not my own opinion, but rather the judgment of my Lord. And most of them do not believe in Allah except while they associate others with Him. And if you obey most of those on earth, they will lead you astray from the way of Allah. And only a few believed with high except those who believed and did righteous deeds, and how few they are. And few of my servants are grateful. There are many such verses. The point is ignorance. Even if he fills the entire world with noise and commotion like a noisy water wheel, if he is ignorant of his Lord, does not truly revere Him, does not know His greatness, majesty, beauty, perfection, His religion, His divine law, and what truly pleases Him, may He be glorified, I say to you, such a person is truly dead, even if he lives among the living. Do you want the proof? I wish you would look at what is narrated in Al-Bukhari and Muslim, the hadith of Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, that the beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, he said, the example of the one who remembers his Lord and the one who does not remember his Lord is like that of the living and the dead. This is not a personal interpretation. Ignorance before death is itself a kind of death. It is a profound death for its people, and their earthly bodies are like graves even before the grave itself. Their very souls are estranged and separated from their physical bodies. And for them, there is no true resurrection before the ultimate and final resurrection. The ignorant person is truly dead, and his physical body is nothing more than a mere grave that walks upon the face of the earth. This is a serious analogy. Ignorance before death is a kind of death for its people, and their bodies are graves before the actual graves. Their souls are estranged from their bodies, and for them there is no resurrection before the resurrection. The one who is ignorant of Godhead has neither intellect nor life.
But how is when there are inventions, technology, and technical advancements, they've reached the clouds and even landed on the moon?
And we do not deny that, yes. But in what sense? Will you reflect with me on this beautiful verse? Come on, in the name of God. And they said, if only we had listened or
used our reason, we would not have been among the companions of the blaze.
According to the explicit words of the Almighty King, the Qur'an of the Almighty King, so where is creative intellect? Where is innovative mind? And they said, if only we had listened or used reason, we would not have been among companions of the blaze, because their intellects led them, Dr. Muhammad, to worshipping stones that can neither harm nor benefit, to worshipping idols and even to worshipping the mind itself, even to worshipping humans, to worshipping statues, to worshipping ideologies and doctrines and some organizations, and to worshipping one's own desires. This is the most dangerous God worshipped on earth. The most dangerous God. Have you seen the one who takes his own desires as his God? And God leads him astray, despite his knowledge. Even if the form changes, even if the ideology of worship changes. Don't you see now, in the age of the atom, the age of satellites and the internet, that there are still those who worship the cow? Yes. And that there are those who worship the male genitalia? Yes. And the female genitalia? Yes. In fact, did you know that there are people now who actually worship mice? The mouse has become a god to be worshipped. Where is the reason, O Muhammad? Where has reason truly gone? That's precisely why I mentioned before, and if you'll kindly allow me, I'd like to repeat the profound verses of my esteemed teacher and Shaykh Ibn al-Qayyim, who wisely said, the mind alone, without any guidance from divine revelation, cannot establish or detail anything like the eye without light. It cannot truly see until it is illuminated morning and evening. The light of prophethood is like the light of the sun to the discerning eye. So take it as your guide. If the light of prophethood does not reach you, then reason alone will never guide you to the right path. The paths to guidance are limited, except for those who make this revelation and its descent their aim. So if you deliberately turn away from the path, know that you never truly sought to reach it. O seeker of guidance through reason alone without transmission, you will never find a proof for that. Never, never. Islam elevates the intellect, blesses it, and strengthens it. In fact, take it from me, Dr. Muhammad, in Islam, reason is the basis for accountability. If reason is absent, there is no obligation. What an honor this is for us, reason in Islam.
The basis for accountability is that the pen is lifted from three, among them the insane until they regain their sanity. This is an extremely important point, yes. Perhaps we should dedicate an entire episode to it.
These are the guidelines for thought. This is an extremely critical issue. We must dedicate a session to discussing the guidelines for thought, so that I do not end up through this contemplation at atheism or ignorance of God, His glorious names, His perfect attributes, His law and His religion, let alone ignorance of His messengers and prophets. Yes, good. Let's gather the threads of our discussion as we reach the end of the episode. So, among the reasons for neglecting contemplation, is this an individual obligation or a collective one? I mean, do we have to memorize the Qur'an and memorize? No, it is not required that everyone memorizes the Qur'an, but that he knows his Lord, yes, and that he is the one who created him, and that he singles him out, glorified and exalted, be he alone, for divinity, monotheism and worship.
Yes.
And that he obeys his commands, which are divine directives and instructions for a righteous life, and meticulously avoids his prohibitions, which are clear boundaries set to protect humanity from harm and guide them towards goodness. He abides by his limits, understanding that these are not arbitrary restrictions but wise guidelines for a balanced and virtuous existence, and diligently learns about his religion through his messengers and prophets, who were divinely chosen individuals entrusted with conveying the sacred message and upon whom he revealed it. This revelation came in the form of sacred texts, the books and scriptures, which serve as timeless guides for humanity, illuminating the path to spiritual enlightenment and moral conduct. The distraction you mentioned, namely wealth and worldly matters, this pervasive preoccupation with the transient aspects of this earthly life, being excessively engrossed and consumed by the world and its fleeting allurements. Or if you prefer, Dr. Muhammad, it is fundamentally the life of the body, focused solely on physical desires and material accumulation at the profound expense of the life of the mind, which seeks knowledge and understanding, the life of the heart, which yearns for compassion and connection, and the life of the soul, which strives for spiritual fulfillment and transcendence. Indeed, the life of the body at the expense of the life of the mind, the heart, the soul, and the very essence of conscience, which guides moral discernment and ethical behavior. And moving on, the second significant reason contributing to these challenges is the overwhelming and pervasive dominance of materialism, where material possessions and worldly success become the ultimate measure of value and happiness, overshadowing spiritual and moral considerations. Yes, perhaps we will suffice with this extensive amount for now, having delved into these crucial points, and God willing, we will continue our profound discussion in a future episode, exploring further dimensions of these vital topics. But before we end this insightful session, I would like to sincerely ask you for some invaluable advice, drawing upon your wisdom and experience to guide us further.
If the world with its material aspects overwhelms us and crowds in on us, what is your advice? And how do we find a way out of all this? You are now blaming the world because it has taken over us. So what is the way out? You might be surprised if I say, work for this world, except in what leads you to disobey Allah, glorified and exalted be He. The blame mentioned in the Qur'an, that we were raised upon the blame of the world, this is a mistake in its foundation. Allah, glorified and exalted, did not blame the world for its time or its place. For its time is the night and the day, which the Almighty, the Forgiving, has made as a succession for whoever wishes to remember or wishes to be grateful.
Yes, and as for its place, it is the earth, this earth, that Allah the Almighty has made a sign that requires contemplation, and a sign for them is the dead earth, and so on. And what Allah has placed in it of great signs, such as rivers, mountains, trees, flowers, and the earth itself. Listen to the words of Ali ibn Abi Talib, may Allah be pleased with him. He said, this world is a place of truth for the truthful, a place of salvation for the understanding, and a place of wealth for those who take provisions. The landing place of Allah's revelation and the marketplace of Allah's friends. They gain mercy in it and earn paradise through it. There is no contradiction between this foundation and the saying, O world, deceive someone other than me. There is no contradiction. How do we reconcile this? We reconcile it by making this world a farm for the hereafter. You work in it certain that it is not the end of life, but rather before you lies an eternal everlasting life. So you make use of this period, which is itself an independent blessing, the blessing of being given time, that Allah glorified and exalted grants us respite. We work in this world, but the world should not take such a place in our hearts that it makes us forget our Lord. And as for the other, and my sincere advice to my beloved Ummah, get to know Allah anew in the profound and intended way the Almighty, the praiseworthy, truly intends, in the way the Almighty, the praiseworthy, truly intends, and in the way the liberator of slaves, peace and abundant blessings be upon him, truly intends. And my advice to the other is this: is it not time for you to look at this magnificent universe and know its creator Allah? I humbly ask Allah the Almighty to mercifully guide our forelocks and our hearts directly to Him. Yes, the noble messenger of Allah, peace and abundant blessings be upon him, was once specifically asked to pray against the polytheists. They earnestly asked him to invoke Allah against them. But he, peace and blessings be upon him, with his profound wisdom said, I was not sent to curse people, rather I was sent as a mercy. And from my own study of his biography, which I have memorized and taught to my children and students, I find that there are very few instances, indeed hardly any at all, that I personally know of. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, did pray against the polytheists. She prayed against Quraysh when their harm towards him became severe, peace and blessings be upon him, while he was circumambulating the Kaaba and among the people of virtue and knowledge. Some have said that this supplication was specifically directed at those who had harmed him as he was circumambulating. He said, "Oh Allah, deal with Quraysh," or "Oh Allah, deal with so and so and so and so and so and so and so," referring to those who killed at the incident of Ain, meaning the incident of Ain in its entirety. And they said this was specific and should not be generalized. Should not be generalized. Likewise, his supplication against Rail and Dhakhwan, who killed the reciters, they killed 70 companions all at once. So he stood and invoked qunut against them for a month, supplicating and asking Allah against them, "Oh Allah, deal with Ra'al and Dhakhwan until the revelation. You have no part in the matter. Allahu Akbar, there is no God but Allah. Peace and blessings be upon him." And when they said, "O Messenger, O Allah, pray to Allah against those," they said. So they said, "Raise your hands," and they said, "Those is doomed." That's it, they're finished.
However, despite any previous grievances or the challenging circumstances, he, with profound compassion and unwavering faith, uttered a heartfelt supplication. He earnestly implored, saying, "O Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate, I humbly ask you to guide the tribe of Dot," illuminating their hearts with the light of truth and leading them away from error. "Furthermore, I beseech you, O Allah, to bring them into the fold of Islam, allowing them to embrace its teachings and become part of the community of believers." This prayer reflects a deep desire for their spiritual well-being and a hope for their conversion to the true path, demonstrating a remarkable spirit of forgiveness and a focus on the greater good, even in the